Hi, I'm Travis, your friendly former U.S. visa officer and U.S. immigration attorney. Today, I want to talk about the 3 criteria that visa officers use to evaluate whether a student visa applicant deserves their visa. So I'm specifically talking about F-1 applicants. If you're planning to come to the United States to enroll in a full-time course program and eventually complete that program or graduate, chances are you need to apply for an F-1 student visa. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, when you get to your visa interview, it is crucial that you demonstrate that you deserve the visa, or in other words, that you qualify. But how do you demonstrate that? That's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's get started. Number 1, you need to demonstrate to your visa officer that you are essentially a credible student. You are planning to use that visa, that ticket that gets you into the United States, to enroll in a full course load, to attend class, and then ultimately complete your educational program or graduate. And now, how do you do that? Well, you should first of all plan to speak English at your interview. The visa officer is going to be evaluating whether or not you have at least a basic understanding of the English language, sufficient for you to understand what's being taught in a U.S. classroom. Of course, our classes are predominantly taught in English in the United States, so you need to demonstrate that you can understand what's being taught. Now, beyond that, you should be prepared to explain how you decided on studying in the United States in the first place, and then the choice of school that you're going to attend, and then, of course, the major or the degree that you're going to obtain or focus on. All of those details can help to establish that you really are somebody who's planning to come to the United States to study, as opposed to maybe do something else. Number 2, do you have the financial arrangements in place to cover your tuition and your living expenses? Now, your visa officer is going to look at your I-20 form, which is the document that you get from your school, which identifies the total expense that you will incur. That's tuition, living expenses like rent and food. And then they will compare that to the total finances that you have arranged. Now, this can be a combination of many things. It could be a scholarship, your own savings, maybe money from a sponsor, could be a student loan, could probably be other things as well. And so during your interview, you need to explain to your officer that you have arranged enough money to cover that total expense that's listed on your I-20 form. Now, number 3 is often the most difficult criteria to demonstrate at the interview. And that is that you maintain a residence abroad that you have no intent of abandoning. In plain English, we often refer to this as having ties to home. Think of this as maybe a compelling reason or multiple compelling reasons that you're going to leave the United States after your educational program concludes. Now, that would essentially be after you graduate, or maybe after you complete OPT or STEM OPT work experience, if you choose to do so. This can be very difficult to establish, and this very much depends on your unique circumstance and your unique plans after you graduate. But you should be prepared to explain to your visa officer exactly what you plan to do. It's never going to be sufficient to just say, I'm planning to start a career. You need to explain what that career will be, maybe where you want to work, what exactly you want to do, and where. Because remember, you need to establish that you are going to leave the United States after your program concludes. So those are the 3 requirements. But the biggest thing that I think F-1 applicants maybe are not aware of is the fact that the law is written against you. The law essentially says that a visa officer should conclude that you are not entitled to an F-1 visa unless you can demonstrate that you are qualified. So in some ways, you're really guilty of not qualifying until you prove that you're innocent or until you prove that you do qualify. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by volunteering proactively details and context during your interview. There is a lot of misinformation floating around online that short responses or maybe one word yes or no answers are the best way to approach an interview. And let me be clear here, that is wrong. Visa officers need to understand your situation, your plans in the United States, and your plans after you graduate if they are going to say yes and approve your application. And that's where we can help. At ZF Visa and Immigration, my partner Mandy and I have dedicated our careers to helping applicants just like you navigate through this process. We can help you through every step of the way, from finalizing your DS-160 to preparing for that interview and understanding how best to explain your situation to your visa officer. And we can also help you handle complications that maybe aren't avoidable. And so if you're interested in our support, reach out to us at info@zfvisa.com and we'll explain how we can help. Now, we also have a comprehensive suite of online training courses designed to help you prepare for every step of the journey. We have a course that is designed to prepare you for the DS-160. We walk you through in a video format every single question that the DS-160 application form asks, and we give you insight and tips on how to complete this crucially important form on your own. We then have a course that's designed to help you prepare for the visa interview itself. We offer our proven formula for effective communication so that you can explain all of those details that I just mentioned that are so important, like why you're planning to study in the United States, how you chose your school, how you decided on your major, how you're going to pay for everything, and remember, why you're going to leave the United States after your program comes to an end. And then finally, we have a comprehensive end-to-end course. It starts from the moment you receive your I-20 form. It covers the DS-160 guidance. It helps prepare you for the interview, and we help you navigate through complications that may just not be avoidable. So things like previous refusals, how to handle a refusal both in the DS-160 and during your next interview. So don't leave this process to chance. There is absolutely a way to succeed if you are a qualified visa applicant, but you do need to prepare strategically. You need to understand what to expect at your interview, and you need to understand how to clearly explain your qualifications and demonstrate to your officer that you should be approved. So like I said, take a moment and reach out to us at info@zfvisa.com, and we'll explain how we can help. Best of luck in your visa journey.